Here is Pam Bondi.
The Signals chat controversy that's going on. Is DOJ involved at this point? If so, why? If not, why not?
Well, first, it was sensitive information, not classified, and inadvertently released. And what we should be talking about is it was a very successful mission. Our world is now safer because of that mission. We're not going to comment any further on that. If you want to talk about classified information, talk about what was at Hillary Clinton's home that she was trying to bleach bit, talk about the classified documents in Joe Biden's garage.
Just don't want to really be honest with you here. The bleach bidding thing that they're talking about with Hillary Clinton was over 10 years ago now.
Hillary Clinton hasn't been in elected office since February 2013.
Joe Biden informed the government that there were documents in his garage and immediately handed them over without having to be asked, whereas Donald Trump hid these documents on multiple occasions and refused to hand them over.
Even Mike Pence returned them voluntarily. So it's not just a bipartisan thing, it's a Trump thing.
But this is, incidentally, the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, who's supposed to be completely above political influence. Go ahead.
Talk about the classified documents in Joe Biden's garage that Hunter Biden had access to. This was not classified information, and we are very pleased with the results of that operation and that the entire world is safer because of it. Thank you all very much.
The entire world is safer? Really?
They killed civilians. They killed multiple children in that strike.
And there's been strike after strike after strike over the past 8 or 9 days. The entire world was worried about the ability of the Houthis to threaten the entire world. It's fascinating.
I mean, frankly, what the Houthis were doing is, I guess, doing something to keep. I'm not saying that they're making the world safer, but it's certainly more than what the Trump administration is doing with those strikes, because the blockade is there to put pressure on Israel to stop committing genocide.
We're bombing them to minimize the effects of Israel's genocide on the European, particularly Europe.
And you know how we know that their stated reason is kind of matching up with their actions is because when there was a ceasefire, the blockade stopped.
Here is Bondi on Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham was talking about this apparently.
Is that changing in the government now, though? Is Signal not going to be used, or is it going to be used going forward? Are you aware of it?
I think Signal is a very safe way to communicate. I don't think foreign adversaries are able to hack Signal, as far as I know.
And
pause it for a second. This is astonishing because we now have, first off, it is not legal for them to be using Signal and have it on auto delete. There is absolutely no controversy about that. The law is they need to maintain these records. That's just the law, period. You can maybe finagle around whether it's really a breach of the law to use a private device and to use Signal, but the law is they need to retain this information, and we know for a fact from that leaked chat that it was set to auto delete within 4 weeks. So that is, if you were the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, would be a sticking point for you. Also, if you're the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, you would also know that the issue is not that Signal can be hacked. The issue is that because you're not allowed to put them on government issue phones, they are then on private phones.
Yep.
And the issue is that private phones can be hacked, and you can tell what is being typed into Signal
via keystrokes by bugging. And we now know from this week's reporting in Der Spiegel in Germany that both Waltz and Hegseth's personal phone numbers were available for this paper to find, meaning that they could have, that's how that hack could happen, because their phone numbers were available. And passwords too, for that matter. It's
communicate. I don't think foreign adversaries are able to hack Signal, as far as I know.
And maybe people just have to keep an eye on their contact list a little bit more carefully
Agree.
going forward.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Stop trying to hide your communications from federal oversight and from historians and from future legal action. That's the problem.
It's crazy that they'd even mention Hillary Clinton in this, because it kind of shows them as giant hypocrites that they were so concerned about a private email server, and now they all have basically private messaging servers in their pockets at all times.
The only thing that I appreciate about them bringing that up over and over again is that hopefully some of like their showing that level of hypocrisy will motivate the press to continue and stay on this, because they must realize it's sort of like, you know, it's like essentially the refs seeing that the game switched because they got a little too overzealous in covering, in calling stuff that was physical on one end of the court. Now they got to make up calls here. Although I have to say, this seems to be both indicative of a much wider problem and showing far more incompetence. Another day, another Trump attack on basic freedoms, this time targeting Palestinian activist and green card holder Mahmoud Khalil, who helped lead the Columbia University protests. But if you go to ground.news/majority, you're going to see how some outlets paint him as a radical threat, while others call out Trump's crackdown on dissent. The story hasn't changed, but the way it's told completely changes your perspective. The exact problem our partners at Ground News solve. If you like my show, you'll love how their app and website let you compare coverage from across the spectrum with context on how political bias, financial incentives, and even blind spots shape the narrative. Especially with so much of our media being driven by billionaire and political agendas, propaganda has become one of the most powerful weapons today. But Ground News is independent and nonpartisan, only committed to helping us think critically on the news, shaping everything from public opinion to policy. And since I can't cover every single attack on our rights, I've curated feeds that track key issues and trusted sources. This way, I know I'm bringing my viewers reliable information. Go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to see it in action for yourself. Because this story is bigger than just one activist being detained. It's about how media bias controls what you see and think. My viewers get the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for nearly half the cost, knocking the price down to just $5 a month. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.